Hey guys, today I want to cover doing U-turns and slow speed manoeuvres on the bike. Now this will be my third attempt because I'm having yet more issues with the camera, but this time it's to do with the audio jack. There's a little split in it and it's playing up, so I've taped it up and hopefully fixed it. Well, this is take number 3. So, like I said, I want to go over slow speed manoeuvres and U-turns on a bike. Now, first things first, you need to keep your head up, keep your eyes up. You want to look where you want to go and look past where you want to go. Now, what I mean by that is if you look down, if you're looking down here to try and turn, that's where you're going to go. So you want to keep your head up and look around. So what I'm going to do is show you what I mean. So I'm going to start from here, so just before them lines, and I want to be finishing where those lines end there. So put your head over your shoulder, look all the way around. So I'm going to look at the gate behind me. So that gate, so head over your shoulder, look, make your turn. Okay, head over the shoulder, look, make your turn. That's the first thing. You want to look where you're going. Keep your head up. Keep your eyes up. Looking down, you're going to go down. Keep your head up. Okay. Second of all, you want to control your speed with your rear brake only. Don't touch your front brake. So your slow speed manoeuvres, it's all your throttle, your clutch and your rear brake. Now before I start, I'm just going to adjust my clutch because I could do with a new one. So you want to find where your biting point is, okay? So for me, after adjusting, my biting point is there. So I'm not going to touch the throttle. I'm just going to slowly let my clutch out. And the bike wants to go. There we go. Slowly let the clutch out. And the bike wants to go. Okay? Now at the moment, I'm not even touching the throttle. It just wants to go. Okay? So what you want to do is find your bite point. Give it some throttle. And then control that with your rear brake. Okay? Remember, keep your head up. Head up, eyes up, control your speed with your rear brake, make your turn. Okay? So head up, over, look behind you. I'm looking at the gate. The whole time I'm looking at the gate. I'm not looking at my handlebars. So I'm targeting the gate because that's the position I want to be in. I want to be facing that way, so that's where I need to be looking. Okay. So again, throttle. Slowly let your clutch out on your biting point, and as you set off, Bit of rear brake just for stability. Make the turn. Over the shoulder. And there, when I'm going this way, I'm looking at the pub, as though that's where I want to go. Head over my shoulder. You can use as many revs as you want, as long as you feather that throttle and drag your rear brake, you make the turn. Head over your shoulder, looking at the gate, make the turn. Okay, so that's your U-turns. Now, for your figure of 8, I'm going to use these two lampposts. Okay, so this one here and that one in front. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on that lamppost. That's where I'm looking. Switch. Watching the lamppost, feathering the clutch, and dragging the rear brake. Okay, so look at the lamppost, switch, look at the other lamppost. Switch, look at the lamppost. Switch, look at the lamppost. Make your turn, go around, looking at the lamppost, switch. And all I'm doing for the throttle, switch, is I'm dragging the rear brake and I'm feathering my clutch. Okay? Look at the lamppost. Switch, look at the lamppost. Watching that post, as though that's where I want to go. Switch. And as I let my clutch out, it becomes more difficult. So you want that, you want to keep it just in that biting point. Okay, so it's all about your clutch control. So you want clutch, throttle, and rear brake. You've got to use all three at the same time. Now it seems a little counterintuitive that you want to be braking while you're applying throttle. But on a bike, when you're going slow, that rear brake just creates a bit more, that bit of drag on the rear brake, on the rear wheel, and it just helps keep the bike steady. Okay? So, if you're having trouble with your slow speed, come to somewhere like this, a nice car park, and practice. Okay? Start off simple. Just find that biting point. Okay? So, clutch in, into first. Okay? Don't touch your front brake. Keep your fingers off that front brake. On your slow speed, you do not want to be using your front brake. All about the rear. Rear brake, the clutch, and some throttle. Okay? So start off finding that bite point. Keep your foot on your rear brake. Now I'm not even going to touch the throttle. I want to show you my revs. So at the moment, my revs are at about 16 to 1700. Okay? As I slowly let my clutch out, it's just on the biting point. Can you see? If you watch closely, they're coming down, and the engine's struggling. Now I've got my rear brake on, So if I release my rear brake, the bike wants to move, and there we go. So now I can release my clutch, not touching my throttle, and I'm not on the rear brake at the moment, okay? This is just on tick over. Okay, this is just on idle. So start by finding your biting point. Now it's not going to be all the way in here, okay? So let's go into neutral. So I've got a little bit of play. I need a new cable, so we'll ignore that. So we'll start from here, okay? So your biting point is going to be about here, okay? So that's all the way in. My biting point is there. Not here, there. So as I apply a little bit of throttle, as I slowly release it, the bike wants to move. Like that. So just practice setting off and finding that biting point. Once you've got your biting point, that's where you want to be keeping around that area, keeping your clutch. Okay? So when you come to doing your manoeuvres, you want to keep it just around the biting point on your clutch, apply some throttle, and just keep the rear wheel dragged. Okay, so again I'm looking at that pole, looking at the pole, switch poles. Rear brake, off the brake a little, switch poles, apply a little more brake, rear brake only, do not touch your front brake. Okay, look at the pole, come round. So I'm looking at that pole because as though that's where I want to go. So I just end up going in a circle, going around it. Okay, look at the pole, you come round, now it's made easier when you've got a big object because you can keep your head up. Okay, when you're on your CBT there'll be a cone on the floor, and I think that's a bad idea because that cone is where you want to be looking, but it's on the floor, and generally when you look at the floor you're going to go to the floor. So when you're doing your CBT or your Mod 1, imagine that there's a pole where that cone is on the floor. Imagine there's a pole and look at that point. Okay. Again, it's going to sound counterintuitive, but you want to be fixating. You want to target fixate. Okay. It's not always a bad thing to target fixate, providing you're doing it on the right things. So I'm target fixating on the pole as I'm coming round. Okay, I'm keeping my head and my eyes up. So where I'm looking, when I'm coming round, I'm looking about here. Okay, that's where I want to be looking, around that area, keeping my head and my eyes up. When it comes to the U-turn, I'm looking as far round as I can. But again, I want to keep my head up, keep my eyes up, okay? So, when we go here, when I'm turning from this direction to over there, I'm getting my head over my shoulder and I'm looking at that pub as though that's where I want to go, because that's the direction that I want to finish in. Again, when I'm coming from that direction to turn round, I'm looking at that gate. It gives a point of reference, and that's where I want to go. So when I'm coming round, I'm looking at the top of that gate, because it's forcing my head up and my eyes up to look at that at the top. If I look down, it's going to be bad news. Again, if I look down, it's going to be bad news. I'm looking at the sign of the pub. It's up. So I'm keeping my head up, keeping my eyes up. Let's try it, shall we? So go from here. So again, I get my head over, make the turn. If you feel like the bike's going to dip, just apply a little bit more throttle. Yeah? So, head over the shoulder, look, make your turn. So the biggest thing is you go where you look. So look where you want to go. If you're looking down, you're going to end up going down because you want to go where you're looking. Don't look down, look up. And come to an empty car park and just practice. If you've got a buddy that rides, see if they'll come with you. Practice together. I've been riding for 17 years, on and off, and I still like to come out and practice doing the U-turns, doing the figure of 8, and practicing that clutch control. Because when you're out in traffic and you're at a crawl, to avoid waddling, where you're sort of walking the bike, you've got both your feet down and you sort of, you're doing this, waddling, when you're doing a few mile an hour, you know, to avoid that, just find that bite point, practice riding on that biting point. And then just rear brake, add some throttle, and just practice on that biting point. So I'm looking up. I wasn't going fast enough, okay? So over the shoulder, and that sun's right in my eyes. And keep your head up. Look, throttle, biting point on the clutch, and just drag that rear brake. So let's do it on a road, okay? So I'm going to go and do it over there. So we're going to go from here. Okay, so biting point, head over the shoulder. And there, my focus point, that tree. So let's go around the roundabout and do it one more time. Okay, so coming around the roundabout, I'm looking through the roundabout all the way around. Okay, so we'll come back into first gear, start from the side, head over the shoulder, throttle, feather that clutch and drag the rear brake. And each time when I'm turning, I'm looking at that tree. That's my focus point, as though that's where I want to go. I'm not looking down here, I'm looking up. I'm looking up there. So, I hope this has helped. I hope people can find this useful. And I'm going to leave this one here for now, guys. So, yet again, all that good stuff. If you're not subscribed, do so, free. Drop me a like, drop me a comment, share this video with your friends if you know anybody that's struggling or is thinking of riding, thinking of getting into riding. Maybe send them a link to this video. Anyway guys, that's it for now. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you